Hello everyone, Specter here and welcome to Star Citizen. Today we're going to take a look at this Vanguard Harbinger. Alright, so let's take a look first before I talk about the ship. So as you can see, you got a lot of firepower in here, especially for this one. I swap it into, it's a size 5 laser repeater. Originally, it wasn't come with these weapons. The reason why I swapped them out, it's rare for me to swap out all the weaponries like this, since I'm not a very good combat pilot anyway. But this ship, the reason why I bought this ship because I want to train myself to do some bounty huntings and also like mercenary missions. So that's why I swapped them out. Originally, if you talk about this Harbinger, it was come out with 4 size 2 ballistic cannons up there, but now I swapped it out into 4 size 2 laser repeaters. And in here, you got a fixed size 5 laser repeaters, attrition 5, but originally it was a gimbal size 4 laser, no, not laser, but ballistic cannon. Yeah, so it would be ballistic cannons up there, ballistic cannons down there originally, but now I swap it out into all laser repeaters and they're all fixed weapons. Alright, so just because I don't want to be so odd to have a gimbal size 4 laser repeaters like this to move around while I only got fixed weaponries at the nose. So yeah, so that's why it looks a little bit different from the other Harbinger, kind of. Alright. Okay, let's move on. You can see a very big engine. By the way, I didn't switch on any lights. So these lights came from itself. So it's a very good feature. At night you can see your ship very clearly. In here you got some missiles in here, but those are not the only missiles you can find on the ship. Let's move on. These are the engines. And this is the ramp. This is the only entry point for you to get in or out of a ship. So once the ship is going down, if you can't escape it through those ramp, the ramp, you go down with the ship. There's no escape pods on this ship. Okay, on this ship. All right. Here, the right-hand side of the ship is the same as the left-hand side, so there's not much for me to talk about it. So let's move on to the inside of the ship. Alright, so just call out the ramp, lower it down. Alright, in here. So this ramp is a little bit tricky because sometimes when you are pressing the ramp, you may accidentally press the airlock to open it or close it. So, or maybe when you're trying to press the airlock to open it or close it, you will accidentally press the ramp to lower the ramp or raising it up. So just be careful, okay? When you're like pressing the button. In here, you got a quantum drive, which you can do the repair in here in the ship. It's a very good feature. The panel is not useful. You got airlock in here, so it means that even though you got a ramp lowered, you still can breathe up here with the airlock is locked. Over here on the left hand side, you got a storage like place in here for you to put your armor or some kind of things. Over here is a gun rack with ammo. You can put your guns and ammo there. In here you got a kitchen, small kitchen for you to prepare food and drinks. On the left hand side, here is a toilet. You got a shower in here, and also you got a toilet that you can call out. Very nice indeed. Okay, so the reason why I said there's no escape pods of like in this ship, on the ship, because Harbinger well, I should say, the Vanguard series suppose you have escape pods, although they are not functional right now. But for the Harbinger, since you need to, it's like a fighter bomber. So what does it mean? It means that you can carry more firepower to hit heavier ships, which they can. But the only price they need to pay is they need to use the area that they supposed to put the escape pods in here. They change it into a torpedo launch bay. So technically, you don't have escape pods anymore. Yeah, but I think there's a very tricky part. If you watched that movie like 007, then yeah, you kind of might be able to know what I'm talking about. So yeah, the torpedoes, you can shoot someone outside, right? It's a torpedo bay here, so I think if you really want to escape, you can like kind of hug one of those torpedoes and fire yourself outside, or your friends outside. It's still okay. Just joking, you can't. Okay, you got the computers in here, maybe for you to control the missiles or torpedoes to warm them up. In here, you got some computer components in here. They're changing the server, I don't know. Anyway, let's move on. You got an airlock door here, so even though if you open that airlock door, still the pilot have air to breathe, so no worries. In here, you got a turret. The turret is hard to call out, but once you successfully call it out, you will stuck here, just like for the freelancer turret, and then you'll be picked up by the turret and then raised up there to the second floor. I would say if you talk about the turret, the gunner, technically it can provide very few assistance to you because the firepower is not strong enough, and I think I got only rockets for this turret. I didn't change anything from this turret, so that's why. Even if you swap it out into maybe guns, still you can only be able to expect to your gunners to kind of how to say, disturb your enemy. I would say disturbing your enemies while you're retreating, or provide a very limited firepower, extra firepower to what is that triangle? Oh, that's scary. Yeah, so provide limited like firepower to your target in front of you. You can only cover like the top, like above your ship, not the bottom of your ship. So just be aware of this, okay? Alright, so let's move on. Okay, so in here, when you open it, you got some extra storage box, storage here. You can put some guns or something, food, drinks, snacks, or maybe a grenade or two. But don't pull the pin before you put inside. Let's move on here. You got a box, extra box for you to put some maybe ship components in here, because you can repair your shields and power plant and also other things in here. So anyway, it's a very good features to have some components inside of a ship that can access from your ship, like inside of a ship, I should say. Yeah. Alright, so let's move on in here. It's a pilot seat. As a fighter bomber, I won't expect your view is very great. Yeah. Well, if it's a warden, then it's bad because warden is a fighter, a heavy fighter. But like Harbinger is a fighter bomber, so you're supposed to stay a little bit away from your enemy in order to fire your deadly torpedoes and also missiles. Yes, if you talk about missiles, you got like what? You got 15 missiles or torpedoes in total. That's a very deadly as a ship, and as well as your firepower right now is very great. So let me talk about a little bit about the ship first, okay? First, as you can see, the ship size is very, very big. If you want me to compare it, I would say it's a prowler. If you watch my videos about the Xperia prowler, you know how big it is. It is similar size, but just not as tall as a prowler. So that's why it looks a little bit smaller than a prowler, but I should say it's still big. But there is a reason why they're so big. First, Vanguard series is a heavy fighter. They're supposed to engage the enemy head on, like they are the first wave. Um, they are in the first wave, so basically they need to stay alive by themselves quite some time. So you got some kitchens and back there just because you need to stay a little bit like longer for a longer journey. So yeah, that's why. And since you got a size that big, it means that you got more fuel. So yeah, you don't need to have much support from your allies when you engage your enemy. Um, and why there's so much firepower? Because the size, well, it's big already. So the only thing can kind of balance it is provide you more firepower. So all you need to do is to do boom and zoom tactics. So all of a sudden you deploy all the firepower towards your enemy, and with a protection of 2 size 2 shields, which is very good. Uh, Theoretically, it can protect you from enemy fire to do much damage to your ship itself before you disengage and re-engage again with your like frontal firepower. So that's why um, this ship was being added a lot of firepower like this. Okay, so let me talk about like how I feel about this ship. Well, I use this ship for fighting, of course. I can tell you it's very comfortable for me. Although I should tell you guys I got a lot of damage, even though I got a like very easy bounties and also kind of mercenary work. But still, I got a very heavy damage by I was heavily damaged by those pirates, which one part of my wing was came off. Still, I would be able to control my ship without much difficulties, and I can stay alive to come back home to repair to pay my bill. So I would say this ship is quite forgiving for like in combat. The only bad experience for me is one part of during the Nine Tail event. I think um, one part of my engine was being shot down. It turns out when I was like accelerating forward, it would keep spinning around instead of moving forward. So that is the only bad experience for me about the ship. And why I would say this ship is good, because if you talk about the price point, the in-game price point is slightly more than 2 million Alpha UEC. So with this price point, if you are a very good like combat pilot, you can purchase this ship already with a very reasonable shields and also like very great firepower. Um, Although if you want to save up a little bit more, you can get a little bit bigger and also better ships. That would be the Freelancer Miss. But I want to tell you, the Freelancer series, you got a very limited view of your surrounding. So basically, it's a gunship, and this ship is a fighter, heavy fighter, and heavy fighter bomber, I should say. Yeah, it can provide you like a decent amount of fire, like a damage to the bigger ships, like with a size 5 torpedoes. So if you just want to experience first a little bit about the combat with a heavy fighter bomber, then this ship is a very good choice for you guys. All right. Of course, everyone like if you really want to support the game development, you may ask about like how much was it with real money price. Yes, with real money it costs you around $300, which is expensive as this ship is not, it's just a fighter without any SCU. You can't do much missions instead of like fighting. So I would suggest all the players, if you really want to buy the ship with real money, please at least purchase it in-game first. Fly this ship around. If this ship is your cup of tea, then you can choose to buy the ship with real money. Of course, you can do whatever you want. But yeah, Star Citizen is still in alpha testing, so basically, um, I would say, um, how to say, yeah, just $45 is enough for you to experience this game already. So no need to buy too expensive things. Of course, the final decision is on you. All right. So that is it for today's video. And if you think this video is helpful or like kind of helping you, feel free to leave a like. All right. And if you want to ask something or you want to kind of like suggest me how I should do in order to make a better video, yeah, feel free to leave a comment down below. All right. So I shall see you guys next time with the other ships tour. All right. Yeah. So that is it, and see you guys next time. Bye bye.